Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in the world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayer's Live, page by page reading and commentary of the Bible. Hope all of you had a wonderful day today. Today is probably the latest in the evening that I've done one of these page by page readings and commentaries of the Bible since we've gotten started. And I'll tell you, it definitely is a bit of a different vibe doing these readings in the evening versus the morning. I personally think that it's better for me to do these readings in the mornings, but sometimes the day to day activity just doesn't allow it in my world. And that's okay. That's okay. You know, all of us have unexpected things happen at times, but we do have to remember as Christians that everything happens for a reason and in its own time. I do want to direct many of you to a wonderful find that I came across today. Actually, I initially came across this YouTube channel probably about a week ago, but I just hadn't realized how beautiful the graphics on the videos or the music live streams and music videos this person created that he puts with his music. I hadn't realized how pretty the graphics were until I took a look today. So I have to recommend this channel. It's Yoni Charis, Yonicharis. Yoni Charis creates beautiful Christian lo-fi music. And again, he makes some of the coolest graphics to go along with his music. And if you just need something to listen to in the background while you're studying, reading, maybe working on some art, maybe doing just some regular work. Maybe you're like me and you work remotely from home and you want something just to kind of keep you going in the background. Maybe you're someone who enjoys listening to lo-fi music while you're driving. But his is the channel to subscribe to. He has live music channels, pre-recorded music, but it's all Christian lo-fi. The graphics are beautiful. The graphics tend to revolve around beautiful African American women of all sorts in very productive settings, studying, working, things like that. It's just great. It's great. So subscribe. I have the link over on my community tab right now, but I will also post the link at the end of this reading today in the description of this video because everybody should subscribe to Yoni Charis. I really enjoy what he puts out there. And for free, nonetheless, for free. We can all listen to his beautiful beats, his beautiful music for free. That's the beauty of the internet. And take advantage of it while you can because, as you all know, technology and the platforms for technology rapidly change. I mean, I've seen so many changes to the internet over the years. It's amazing. But I'm very blessed to have witnessed the development of the internet as I've been privy to do so. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get into Exodus 14, crossing the Red Sea, one of the most noted events of the Bible. Now, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, so that they turn and camp before Pi Harith. I'm sorry, Pi Har. I don't know how to say this. Pi Hahiroth. Pi Hahiroth. We're going to start over because I had that word came at me from out of nowhere. I didn't pre-read this. Let's start again. That threw me for a loop. Now, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, so that they turn and camp before Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, before Baal Zephon, opposite you shall camp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are confused in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. So I will harden Pharaoh's heart, so that he shall pursue them. And I will be honored because of Pharaoh and because of all his army, so that the Egyptians may know I am the Lord. And they did so. So, in other words, God is instructing Moses to lead the Hebrews, who have been the slaves of Egypt for a very long time, into an area where the Pharaoh will assume that they're just not coming back or they're lost or something. So he's going to bring his armies to try to bring them back. And throughout all these plagues and all these events leading up to the crossing of the Red Sea, which is where we are right now, God let Moses know, hey, a part of why I'm doing this is specifically to make the Pharaoh angry, so that he realizes, look, you cannot surpass me. He wanted the Pharaoh to understand that he, God, the God of the Hebrews, was more powerful than all of his deities. So let's continue. When it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? So he made ready his chariot and took his people with him. Okay, so the king of Egypt, he's questioning of himself, why did I let these slaves go? This has substantially changed the society that I rule. People have to do their own work? I don't think so. That was his attitude. And he took 600 select chariots and all the chariots of Egypt and officers over every one of them. The Lord hardened the heart of the Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. However, the children of Israel went out with confidence, but the Egyptians pursued after them. All the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them by camping by the sea, beside Pi Hahiroth, before Baal Zephon. When Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and indeed the Egyptians were marching after them, and they were extremely terrified. So the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. Then they said to Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? Why have you dealt with us in this way, bringing us out of Egypt? Is it not this the word that we spoke to you in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. So the Hebrews are scared now. They are very scared. And yes, happy Passover, JJ. Happy Passover. Same to you. I was just saying yesterday that I didn't mean to coincide this area of the Bible that we're covering with the holiday of Passover. It just kind of worked out this way. It just worked out this way, but I think it was meant to be. But just to catch up to where we are right now, the Hebrews are scared because they're out in the open, they're in the wilderness, they're in unfamiliar territory. This whole situation is new to them. They're scared that they've been slaves their entire lives to the Egyptians, and now they feel like they're going to die because they've gotten away from the Egyptians. They're finding their freedom, but now they don't think that they're going to be able to enjoy their freedom. They think that they're going to be killed by their oppressors, but that's not what happens. Let's continue. But Moses said to the people, fear not, stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord, which he shall show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall never see again. The Lord shall fight for you while you hold your peace. The Lord said to Moses, Why do you cry out to me? Speak to the children of Israel so that they go forward. And as for you, lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. Then the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. As for me, surely I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, so that they shall follow them, and I will be honored through Pharaoh, through all his army, his chariots, and his horsemen. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I am honored through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. So at this point, God's saying to Moses, look, you need to have some faith. Don't cry to me because these people are crying to you. You've listened to me all along. I haven't steered you wrong yet. You've seen all these plagues that I created. Okay? That didn't come out of nowhere. So keep going. You got the sea in front of you? That's nothing. You have that special rod, aka staff. Go ahead, part the sea. Keep going. And I'm sure at this point, Moses, because he's getting up there in age too at this point too. Moses is like, oh my gosh, I don't know about this. And remember, when all this began, Moses didn't even think anyone was going to listen to him. He had no faith in his own speaking ability. So what did God do? God hooked him up with Aaron. There's been miracle after miracle that has happened. And really, from my perspective, as I'm reading this isn't really so much of a display to the not to the Egyptian. Well, yeah, to the Egyptians, but mainly to the Hebrews as a whole. This is a story of one man who needed to truly have faith in God and in himself, and that man is Moses. I mean, he's even talking directly to God, and he still seems to have problems believing, which is astounding to me. But that tends to be how it actually is. You know, sometimes those who are the most blessed don't realize how good they have it. So, anyways, let's continue. Then the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, moved and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud moved before them and stood behind them. So it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And there was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night. Therefore, the one did not come near the other the entire night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, so that the waters were divided. The children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Then the Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, even all the Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And in the morning watched the Lord. Start that sentence again. And in the morning watched the Lord look down on the army and the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and threw the camp of the Egyptians into confusion. He removed their chariot wheels so that they drove them with difficulty. And the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord is fighting for them against Egypt. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may come back upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots and their horsemen. So Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its normal place when the morning appeared, while the Egyptians fled against it. So the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea, The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. Wow. So, God having the Hebrews cross that Red Sea as he did was essentially a trap that was laid for the Egyptians. God drowned that whole army, basically, in the sea so that the Hebrews could get away to freedom. And this is the first time, that I have ever received a donation on this channel since I've monetized it. I really appreciate it, JJ. I'm going to read this. You are my first donation through this system that I've ever received. Thank you very much. JJ says, many, including myself, believe this is a more likely the time of Jesus' birth. He is said to be a Pisces, new birth, new life. Thank you for your readings. God bless you. God bless you too. I didn't know. I didn't know about there being a debate in regards to Jesus's birth. But after I finish this, being that you did send a donation, we will explore that. I'll do a quick Google search and look and see what other people are saying, and we can discuss that element a little bit. Because if that's something that's on your mind, I'm sure it's on other people's minds, and maybe you want to discuss it. Now we're to the last paragraph of Exodus 14. I'm sorry I butchered this a little bit when it came to the pronunciation of some of the names. I have some trouble with some of the biblical names, pronouncing them, but let's continue. But the children of Israel walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. When Israel saw the great power in which the Lord used upon the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord, and they believed in the Lord and his servant Moses. That's such a good book of the Bible, isn't it? The slaves make it to freedom. Their oppressors did not make it in their pursuit after them. Moses, he found within himself that he had the power to help his people. You know, you have a little bit of a war tactic in here that you learn about also when it comes to luring your enemies into traps. But now let's go ahead and look into what I just said that I'm going to look into, which is, I guess, the debate in regards to when people are, what day people think that Jesus was actually born. Does it matter? Not in my opinion, because I don't think time over the years has been consistent from biblical times up into the present. And I'll tell you the reason I think that is because I don't think that the speed of the Earth's rotation has always been the same. I don't think that the orbit of Earth around the sun has always been the same. I think at times the Earth may have been closer to the sun. Maybe other times the Earth has been further away from the sun, which would change the length of years. I don't think anything's always been as it is today. I don't think gravity even has always been the same. I think that that could account for why in the past people have been smaller and sometimes taller, why trees at times have grown far larger than they are today, animals also. I think that there's a lot of fluctuation when it comes to the environment here on Earth. So I think that our year, what we consider a year now, is substantially different to what a year was in biblical times. But okay, so let's see. Jesus, I'm just going to Google Jesus birth date debate. Let's see what people are saying. All right, well, the first thing that comes up in Google is theories based on the Star of Bethlehem. University of Cambridge professor Colin Humphreys has argued in the Quarterly Journal of the Royal Astronomical Society that a comet in the early 5 BC was likely the Star of Bethlehem, putting Jesus' birth in or near April. Okay, well, could be. Could be. All right, something on the website howstuffworks.com. It says, when was Jesus really born? Not December 25th. All right, I'll just read this. Around the world, Christians anxiously await the arrival of Christmas, a joyous day to celebrate the birth of Jesus. But more than 2 millennia after Jesus' momentous ministry, even Christians can't agree on his birthday. In Catholic and Protestant traditions, Christmas is celebrated December 25th, while Orthodox Christians in countries like Russia, Greece, and Egypt celebrate Christmas on January 6th or January 7th. I'll tell you all something funny. It's a very funny thing within my family, actually. My father's birthday is Christmas, all right? And growing up, he always made a big deal about it. He's like, yeah, my birthday is Jesus's birthday. My birthday's Christmas. But actually, growing up, he kind of didn't like it because people forgot his birthday because Christmas tended to overshadow people remembering it was his birthday and his family, right? So when I was born, my mom actually went into labor on Christmas. And my dad was really excited about that, thinking that his daughter, his first child, was going to have the same birthday as him. But my birthday is actually January 7th, which is Orthodox Christmas, which is funny. I just kind of wanted to share that story. Anyway, yet according to historians and biblical scholars, even those traditional dates are debatable. The Bible's most detailed account of the Nativity is in the New Testament's Gospel of Luke. But even that orderly narrative, complete with highly specific references to Roman rulers and a worldwide census, fails to name a day, month, or even year for Jesus' birth. All right, so this article goes on. I will link this article also to the description of tonight's live stream so that all of you can read this for yourself. But it does conclude, from what I can see, with that April, with the month of April likely being when Jesus was born. Some people, it says here, that they have a theory of Christmas actually being around September, which is interesting. Oh. So, does it matter? That's the question. Does it matter? To me, it doesn't. To me, when it comes to Jesus Christ, it's all about the ministry. It's all about what he went through. One of the most nominal elements of Jesus that really appeals to me as an adult, considering a lot of the things that I've had to go through in my life, is that Jesus Christ is one of the first documented cases of gang stalking, organized stalking, an effort to silence his freedom of speech. Yeah, yeah. But it's a good lesson. It goes to show that when you have a group coming after one person, putting forth so much effort publicly to silence them, all that does is add to the importance of that one targeted individual's words and makes people even more curious about what they have to say. I mean, all the people who were out to crucify Jesus, I mean, what they did backfired. That's what happened. They were like, ha ha ha, finally we caught him. Now we're going to nail him to the cross. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Well, today, the cross is probably one of the most recognizable religious symbols that reminds everybody of Jesus Christ, how awesome Jesus Christ is, and how horrific the people who killed them were. You know? So if you're somebody out there who thinks that it's a good idea to try to rally hate against one person, you're like, ha ha ha, look at all these people I have convinced that this one person who I don't like for whatever reason or who I don't agree with is so bad that all these people are going to rise up against this one person and essentially kill them, be it through tarnishing their reputation or destroying their reputation or destroying their sense of self-esteem or sense of well-being, sense of safety. Ha ha ha. Yeah, well, when you do that, it always ends up backfiring. Always. And that to me is one of the most symbolic things of what Christianity is. The whole Christian religion, in my opinion, is a giant example of karma. What goes around comes around. So that I'm glad you brought that up tonight, JJ, about Jesus's birthday. We're not up to that part in the Bible yet, but we will get there eventually, and I hope that you're still along here with me for the ride when we get there. Thank you, JJ, for being my first donation through the YouTube chat that I've ever received. I appreciate your gift greatly, and it's been a good day today. Today I had a really good day. Last night, or more like this morning, early this morning, but I consider it last night, I did a new installment of my live stream Trash Fire TV, if you want to check that out. If I have time, late tonight, I'll do another installment. I still got to do some work tonight. And I'll just be around here on the internet. I'll be around. And hello, mermaid. Hello. Good to see you. You're sweet, JJ. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me and being on this biblical journey with me. It's really making my life a lot better. So take care, everyone. I will see you soon. And at some point, we are going to do that audio listening party of the Book of Enoch. I'm going to do it through a video format. But we will get there. I just got to figure out a day and a time that I have nothing else to do to where we can do it. So have a wonderful, wonderful night, everyone. Happy, blessed Easter weekend to all of you, because we got that coming up. And I'll be with all of you for the rest of the year and beyond, because I don't know how long it's going to take us to get through the Bible. I really don't. I guess I could sit here and factor it out, but I really don't want to. I don't want to, because it's so much fun. So once we get to the end, I'll have to figure out what to do from there. I don't know what we'll do when we get to the end, but we'll figure something out. We'll figure it out. All right. Good night, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.